not so far away. Games I'm playing with my mind. But I hear your...
I think that coming through here and learning how to deal with the guilt, shame, and remorse from my drug-ridden past is what freed me up to live the life that I live. I'm like you, I don't think that a God in his infinite wisdom or grace withholds life from us. I think that we're, for whatever reason, crippled where we can't participate and receive his blessings. And one of the things that getting off of drugs allowed me to do was to embrace a personal relationship with God and to have a life. The life that so many people have automatically. I just had to have help, and that's what I think most of the guys that come through here and put together a life, that's where they're at. They need somebody to help them get past the crutch or the addiction that they've developed. Before here, I don't think I was ever open to that help. I'm not willing to say that it wasn't available, I just wasn't open to it. When I got here, and the right combination, the availability of counseling, the guidance for what to do next, to help me prioritize my life, all of it was right there. To put out the messes or the fires that had occurred, being estranged from my family, you know, putting some time and energy into developing a good work history, good work ethics, or, you know, reapplying some of the lessons I learned as a kid on the farm. Being here helped me do that, helped me begin to take pride again in what I did and who I was. I think that that's the most valuable thing that we can do, is give a man the opportunity to escape his own prison. You know, most of the time when the men get here, they've already been in prison. But what they don't realize is that we carry that prison within us with our addictions to alcohol and drugs. We're never really free. And that's one of the things that Zach Taylor and meeting Zach Taylor in the beginning gave me, was the opportunity to finally be free of my addiction and my crippling behavior. Because I do believe that it was me. It wasn't some entity outside of myself. It was me, and I had to learn how to deal with the urges, the feelings, and then all the guilt and shame that came with the bad behavior. And this place set me straight.
So you basically took over for Zach Taylor.
I just, I look at it as part of my journey. When I came here on a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of August in '89, I was morally, spiritually, and mentally bankrupt. Zach helped me build a life. I worked for him until the day he died. When I returned here in August in 2011 as the owner, my mission has not changed. You know, the only difference is, instead of scraping and trying to build a life for myself, now we scrape and try to build a life or help others build a life for themselves. And in doing so, I get to reinvigorate my own ideas and my own passion every time somebody comes through that door and they're just coming off the streets or just getting out of prison. I learn what it was like for me. I see another version of myself. And when they try and make progress, and those two things have to be together, they have to give it some effort. And when I see the progress they make, it just reinvigorates me in my own spirit to continue doing what I'm doing. Through this place, I've not only had a bountiful life with my children and grandchildren, and I learned how to be able to have a purpose in my community, but I've also watched other men do exactly the same thing as you've done. And
Right.
It just, it's hard to explain how good it feels to see you guys that are working and living in the community and doing really well for yourselves, that have a complete life, you know. marriage, family, faith, a place, you know, and that's what's kept me here, working here. I believe that I could have went anywhere and did anything. I'm just blessed that it happened to be here that I was able to do that.
Everywhere I go, I hear people saying, well, I don't want my son to go to that halfway house because half the people there are using anyway. I understand, I'm sure you have a rule before, if somebody messes up, that they have an opportunity to redeem themselves and come back, I'm sure. But I'm sure there's a period of time. But how does that work if somebody comes into your halfway house?
We have zero tolerance for drug and alcohol use. And that does not mean we might not do a re-entry for someone that does screw up. But it does mean for any behavior that they exhibit here, if it's against the rules and against societal norms, whatever's normal and healthy for everybody else, the consequences have to be swift and they have to be consistent, just like anywhere else in American life. I believe that most of these guys, the drinking and the drugs have destroyed them. I'm not going to stand by and watch them do that and in some fashion placate them. I'm not willing to placate them.
'Cause you're only in the pictures, you're not here by my side. It's so hard to say goodbye. It's so hard to say goodbye when I remember you so well. To know you meant so much to me, more than words could ever tell. Why'd you have to go away? I can't let these memories die. Gazing at old pictures, it's so hard to say goodbye. You're only in the pictures, you're not here by my side. It's so hard to say goodbye.
When I first met Gary last on March 27th, when I first came here, he told me straight up about how he was and how his problems were. He's a straight up guy. He's honestly a straight up guy.
Do you feel you get a second chance if you screwed up?
If I screwed up, maybe, yeah, yes.
But you're not sure, huh?
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not planning to screw up here.
Well, good. What are these vans used for, Gary?
We use those to get guys to and from work and meetings. You guys go to meetings on what, Tuesday night?
Wednesday.
Wednesday night? Yeah, we have a volunteer that comes in and takes them to meetings. Steve, you mind if we see your room here?
Gary saved my life.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Well, tell me a little about the story, man.
Well, Gary did something that my family couldn't do, and that's got me out of there so I can start my life over with.
Okay.
So, all hats off to him.
So you were out there running around pretty?
I was pretty bad. I've been clean 3 years now, and it's thanks to Gary.
Do you know much of Gary's story?
Yes, I do.
It was like yours, huh?
I think he was a little bad, a little worse off in mine, but I think I can stay on the right foot with him.
Absolutely. And how long have you been here now?
I'll say 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
God bless you, man.
That's it.
You look good. You look healthy.
Thank you very much.
And you're running things with Gary or her?
Oh, I do whatever you want me to do. do a little run around, take people to work and all this.
That's awesome, man. God bless you, man. It's nice to see people making it, man.
I know that's
I
right.
came out of this place 20 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was Zach Taylor was running it.
My name is Lawrence Wilkerson. I came to Mesa, Arizona from Chattanooga, Tennessee for recovery. And Gary was here doing recovery homes. It was the House Incorporated back then. And he really helped me out a lot. Got me into the place here and started my recovery, got my life back. And I went back to Tennessee in '99. I fell off again back home after about 8 years and gave Gary a call, and again, with open arms, he told me I could come back, and here I am.
This is 919 East Broadway Road. We opened this site in November of 2000. We've literally had hundreds of men go through here. It's a huge site. It's about 4,700 square feet with 11 sleeping areas, 5 bathrooms, and 2 living rooms and 2 kitchens. The men love this because they're doing level 2 or semi-independent living here. They get to access the community daily. They get weekend passes here if they're on their best behavior and following all the rules. And here we trade a little bit of supervision for a little more responsibility on their part. Of course, there's still the continued drug testing and alcohol testing with 0 tolerance. But here they go down to, I think it's 4 hours a week of professional services and groups, and as I said, more responsibility. Usually by the time they get to this level, they're doing weekend passes with their families and getting ready for independent living. So this is level 2 or semi-independent living. If we walked around through here, we'd see on a Saturday evening like this, the guys are in different levels of relaxation if they haven't already left the facility to go see their family and exercise their weekend passes. But there's still 2 staff members here full time, and they'll be drug testing and alcohol testing everybody when they get back to see them. So there's a little bit more going on in the late evenings at level 2s like this than the entry level. At the entry level, at 10 o'clock at night, everybody's indoors and getting ready for sleep. Here, they're coming in from their passes and getting tested for alcohol and drug use.
started working with Gary back when this was the House Incorporated owned by Zach Taylor. I was working as the manager of a three-quarter house, House 5 at the time. Then they shipped me off to House 2 for about a year, and then I started working with Gary down here at the office for several years. Took a break in 2000 for about 6-7 months, and then came back working with Gary when he went out on his own in 2000, and been working with Gary since that time, basically January of 2001. Since that time, Gary has started out with just 2 houses, and as I said before, has built up to 7. He has tried to incorporate all those things that Zach Taylor taught him about running a men's halfway house. Gary tries to give the men a chance, a clean, comfortable place where they can get started on a new path in their lives. As Gary says all the time, he tries to keep it simple. He's offering a simple service, and that is lodging, housing for the men. And he's been successful at doing that, keeping it simple and providing a good structured environment. There's a lot of men and a lot of families that have been helped greatly by the presence and the business that Gary has got going here.
We all have chores here. We do our chores, and we keep it immaculate. It's up to us to be able to do what we do for us keeping the house clean.
And this is definitely some of the best and the cleanest that I've ever been in. And I've been into 4 or 5 here in Mesa. Gary's program, I know he's passionate about recovery, which is, he's passionate about our well-being in recovery. He wants us to see, he wants us to be recovered. And I know it's, like I said, it's a passion for him. Gary is a person. I think Gary is a fine, upstanding human being. I appreciate the fact that he doesn't take advantage of people who suffer from addictions such as alcohol and drugs, that he's here to help. And I love Gary Gaston with all my heart.
My name is Larry Maroney, and I'm here at the Recovery Homes Incorporated. And all in all, to me, the place is very good. It's clean, it's neat. The management of it and everything, you know, such as the director, as Gary, he's a good dude, and you know, he helps you, you know, to try to get to where you need to be. And Basically, the program is run. We go to meetings, and meetings are helpful, if you're trying to get something out of the program. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty good place.
How do you feel about the cleanliness of the place?
Oh, the place is really cleanless. You know what I'm saying? It's clean. The rooms are clean. The bathrooms are clean. Everybody gets up every morning and do their chores. Everybody have a different section of the place to do. So the place is, with the maintenance-wise and cleanliness-wise, very good.
I got in trouble with federal authorities for doing something stupid, something I shouldn't have been doing that was making me money, and people weren't exactly standing in line to help me. Okay, if it hadn't been for recovery homes, I probably would have got a lot more time than what I got. What I ended up getting was time served, 8 months in the halfway house and 3 years probation. But Gary was the person that came down to the federal holding facility and gave me an interview, which was, what he did after that was, he said, okay, we'll take this guy out of the lockup and we'll work with him and see what he wants to do for himself. And then what Gary told me from day one was, this is your book, you get to write it, it's a blank page. You get to write the story from this point on, And I could tell something good was gonna happen even when I was getting released after being locked up for 30 days, that's mandatory, they won't release you, But the marshals were telling me, good luck, make this thing happen, So I felt like, there's something here that I don't know about that's happening, and this is the only second chance I'm going to get, so I need to make the best of it, and that's basically what it is. How I feel about Gary as a person, man, he's top notch, man. There's no words for Gary. I mean, he's open arms for everybody. He wants to help everybody and anybody, and I thank God for him. I really do. He's the man, as he wants to say, speak. But he would not take none of the credit. But God, through him, has blessed a lot of men to get their lives back here.
Promises now broken, pain and memories left to go on. Feel I've left a piece of heart and life behind. Darkness turns to cinema, now showing faded hopes of love. The tears and turmoil fill the endless night. Thinking that his love was real, not knowing he was out to steal a good time. Distance and indifference, a game he played at my expense. Don't feel that I can ever trust again.
And I was a daily meth user for 2 or 3 years at least, and I was just way out there, man. Got involved in crime and stuff. And basically now, what's happening is I've been clean and sober for over 2.5 years. I've been here at recovery homes. I did the whole program. I'd never been in any kind of drug treatment. I had sobered up a couple times, but I just didn't get it, and now I feel like I got it.
All right. How do you feel about Gary as a person?
Gary's a great person to talk to. I go out and eat lunch with Gary probably 1 or 2 times a month just to go hang out with him. There's no business talk, no talk about the other guys. Like, I'm just kind of a comic, I like to have a good laugh and stuff like that.
So you're still having fun in recovery. Are you having as much fun in recovery as you were when you were using?
I'd say I'm having more fun
Now I'm a totally different person now that I'm not using. I'm a lot more reliable employee than I ever was before. And you know, in recovery, I learned to set boundaries. Like I got one of these bosses that just wants you to work 24 hours a day, and I'm like, dude, I'm giving you 12 hours a day. That's it. You know, I'm giving you 5 days a week, 12 hours a day. That's over 60 hours because I never get home in time. You know, never get off it exactly when I'm supposed to. So, but that's enough.
So how do you feel about the cleanliness of this place and how is it clean or?
It's clean because we keep it clean. Everybody's helps, you know, keep the place clean. You basically, you know, you pay rent here. This place is a little different. You have to kind of graduate up into the sober living house. The place I started out in, it was like three persons to a room, you know, but you're just starting out, you know.
Heal the pain. Heal the pain. Heal the pain.
That is Huntington's.
Huntington?
Huntington's.
Huntington's disease?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was a junior in college at Utah State, defensive lineman, and he started getting DUIs. And after he came here, they diagnosed him. What he was doing is drinking to medicate the disease that was developing in him. He has full-fledged Huntington's, and he's going to have it for life. But he's not drinking.
Gary shows us how he's living by the way he walks. He doesn't so much talk about it. I mean, he would share with us on how we can have what he has, but Gary is a man that walks this life. He walks this life, and he leads by an example.
Families, I would say the thing that works best is that it's the men are here for a 6-month period of time. That gives everybody time to work through the feelings and the emotions and the attitudes that everybody brings to a situation like this, and I've seen some amazing things in regards to families getting back together again. The men being able to go back and to be sons and to be husbands and to be brothers and so on and so forth. But that all takes time, and that's one of the things that Gary offers here, is a good length of time for the men to start doing that and developing that.
I got in recovery, I got a job, I started a bank account, I saved some money, I bought a car. You know, I got insurance on the car for over 18 months or whatever, you know. You're making little small steps. That's all I do. If I didn't pick up and use anything today, then I had a successful day. Even though it's Saturday and all I did was basically watch documentaries, you know, on the computer. But you know, just having a clear head, I can now start to think about other things. Like I joined the gym. I've lost some inches. I've lost some fat. Haven't lost any weight, but I'm eating differently. cut a lot of meat out, eating more vegetable protein, stuff like that. So my whole lifestyle, my whole life's changing, and it's just because I'm willing to change, I guess. But I never would have got the chance to do any of this if, you know, Gary hadn't pulled me out of the lockup. Like I said, people weren't standing in line to get Brian out of the lockup.
Really, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
I think that the rules here have to be consistent with the real rules in life and in society. For these guys, they've already lost the right to drink or do drugs. Most have been, you know, found guilty of some kind of drinking or drug-oriented offense, and you know, through the courts and the court officers that supervise them, they've been told that they can't drug or drink. And if they do so while they're here, we not only discharge them or give them whatever internal consequence they got from the program, we also report that behavior directly to the courts.
Right.
And that is swift and sure consequences for most of them.
Now, do you work with psychologists and also recovery places like, you know, like 30-day, like Valley Hope, places like Valley Hope,
Treatment centers.
right? To where when they come out of there, they can come directly to your place. I mean, do you contact people like that in order to generate?
We offer services
for
to
them.
all levels of behavioral health professionals. If someone in a local detox is working with a man who has, you know, a background of alcohol or drug abuse, and they believe that a residential setting like this is appropriate, they can call us. If somebody's working in the court as an officer of the court, probation officer, we've even had calls from some judges who thought the client or defendant that they were working with was appropriate for this place. We take referrals from all across the board as far as the level of professionals in the community. And it really doesn't matter whether it's a family member making a referral of a son or a husband, or you know, it's a court officer. We give everybody the same right for entry and the right to have services. Of course, it doesn't always work out, but we answer the bell for all those calls. I think that the best thing that we give to the community is consistency, access and consistency. My hope is that anybody that suffers has an available option, has a remedy, a real solution, a place where they can get some basic answers to whatever their problems are. And that's what we try to do for the people that come here, for the men that have the drinking and the drug problem. We offer a real solution. It's not easy. It involves a lot of self-restraint. It involves, you know, essentially growing up and making some real adult choices. But for the guys that do it, and for those that follow suit, there goes that consistency theme again. For those that do it, a new life is possible.
What would you guess a recovery rate of, after they're out of this house, of 1 year or more? What would you say?
For
Yes.
a year or more would probably be somewhere in the 10 to 12% range.
Okay.
And as sad as it is, we'll have sometimes upward 80% of the guys back at the old tricks after they've come through the program a year later. The good news is about 12% are still doing well. And if you follow up after the year mark, you'll find 10 to 12% of them still hanging in there, still on supervision in some cases, still living within the community. A lot of times when they leave us, it's not the end of their support. By the time they've left here, ideally they have an outside support system, either the local church, a local 12-step meeting or support group. A lot of times we're able to help them include family into that support circle, where the family knows what the triggers are and what to stay away from. But the men that leave here still abstinent, about 10 to 12% of them you can find after a year or more are still doing well. There's one fee for all. There's no sliding scale. It's a real simple deal. And in order to help the men make that threshold, we do have an employment preparation class that they go through. We've got 4 hours a week of job preparation class. In fact, the teacher takes them out for field excursions. He takes them out in the company van. They may go to job fairs. Sometimes they'll go to high-density locations where there are lots of employment opportunities. A lot of times we're talking about men who are looking for entry-level jobs, non-professional jobs.
Right.
And we try to help them with the basic foundational needs. We make sure that they have proper identification, proper clothing. If they're doing food service, we'll take them down and get them a food handler's card. You know, we try to make sure that they've got their best foot forward. We have some classes on interview skills and how to fill out an application correctly.
Okay. So you provide food too?
Yeah, we have a hired cook 7 days a week. We have a commercial kitchen and commercial food storage area. The men, those that are sitting here sometimes from the court, aren't allowed community access at all, only with supervision or an escort. So we have to have full-fledged food services, so we do that.
Okay, that's good.
Gazing at old pictures, treasured memories, lets me travel back in time. Feelings stir inside me, you're not so far away. Games I'm playing with my mind, but I hear your voice so clearly, even though you're not around. Suddenly I start to cry, 'cause you're only in the pictures, you're not here by my side. It's so hard to say goodbye.
I appreciate the fact that he doesn't take advantage of people who suffer from addictions such as alcohol and drugs, that he's here to help. And I love Gary Gaston with all my heart.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Won't you have to go away? I can't let these memories die. Gazing at old pictures, it's so hard to say goodbye. You're only in the pictures, you're not here by my side. It's so hard to say goodbye. It's so hard to say goodbye when I remember you so well. To know you meant so much to me, more than words could ever tell. Have to go away, I can't let these memories die. Gazing at old pictures, it's so hard to say goodbye.